So Denver, clearly, hindsight, we look back at it because, during the season we were talking about how tight the West was and that the Western Conference was wide open. But I think now when you look back at it, when you look at, the Denver Nuggets season, and maybe we kind of looked at the post All-Star break Nuggets struggles a little too deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they figured some things out during those quote-unquote struggles. But Denver, clearly the number one team in the West this year, and they've proven that during this playoff run. No, not Sacramento, Dr. Dre. Settle down. We're talking Denver. And one could argue, Rami, and you made the argument last segment during the overreaction, that this could be a dynasty. This could be a big-time run for this team. I mean, when you think about their ages, right? They have a great timeline. They're locked in. Jamal Murray, Jokic, Michael Porter Jr. They got a lot of guys locked in, and they have that stability. They have that stability from Michael Malone and even above him. So you could make the argument that the Nuggets could be on the precipice of a dynasty, a dynastic run. And ESPN's Get Up, we're discussing that this morning, and Brian Custer, who was filling in for Greeny, was with Monica McNutt, Alan Hahn, and Marcus Spears, and here's what Custer had to say.
I'm going to go with a team you guys probably forgot about. How about the Sacramento Kings?
Let's
got
go.
the coach of the year, Mike Brown. They got the most clutch guy in the fourth quarter in De'Aaron Fox. Minus Sabonis. Look, I want him to work on his mid-range game this summer. But that is a team on the right. They took them to 7. Golden State.
You are tripping, but it's fine. Let's
go.
No. Hey, you know what we need? Swag News and Cook. We need oven mitts. That's the hottest take there you go today.
Oven mitts.
That's not that even that hot of a take.
So that was to the question of which team in the West could pretty much battle the Nuggets in their dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's Brian Custer filling in for Greeny, who said he thinks it's the Kings, and pretty much everybody else around him reacted as if he was the biggest moron on the planet.
Marcus Spears was flat out disappointed. In the pick. He said it. He was like, "Oh man, you got me disappointed." That's not that hot of a take, man. When you look around the rest of the Western Conference, and I was just about to say, I don't understand how this is still happening with the Kings after they finished third in the West, but I do understand, because I said this was going to happen. 1 year does not dispel everything that looms, that hangs around the Sacramento Kings in terms of their reputation, in terms of the perception of this organization. You got to win. You got to at least win a playoff series before you have washed all that stink off of you. You know what I mean? So I get why it's still happening, but when Jay Hahn says get him some oven mitts, because that's the hottest take of the year, when you look at the facts of this thing, Nick, it's not that hot of a take, really. I mean, you pointed out the Denver Nuggets, and this was while you were out, when you had that couple weeks absence, and I said this to, I believe it was Jay who was filling in for you, simultaneously, like when the Nuggets are playing the Lakers in that series, and it dawned on me like, oh, this might be like the last gasp, or one of the last gasps of this Lakers team. When you look at the age of LeBron, Anthony Davis, his injury history, and everything that goes with it. But simultaneously, I had the epiphany of, oh man, this Nuggets team, like you said, Nick, much better than maybe we gave them credit for during the regular season. And also you look at the core of this team, and they're very young, all between 24 and 28 years old, I think, when you look at the core of that Denver Nuggets team. So they're really, really good, probably better than we had given them credit for, and appear to be a problem for a long time for the Kings and anybody else out west. But man, you look around the rest of the West, Nick, and any other contender comes with huge problems in terms of the age of their superstars and their core, and the injury history of their superstars and their core. Whether you're talking about Memphis and everything surrounding Ja Morant, and they're going to sort of overhaul that roster a little bit this year. Dylan Brooks is not coming back under any circumstances, as they put out there. Phoenix, Kevin Durant ain't getting any younger. They don't know what they're doing with Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. has been a headache for them. The Clippers, we know all the problems with the Clippers, Golden State getting older, the Lakers getting older, Minnesota's a mess. Honestly, Nick, if it's not the Kings, the other team that makes sense to me, I go all the way down to the Oklahoma City Thunder. When you look at the age of their core and the fact that they were able to sneak into the play-in tournament this year and what SGA has done in terms of the leap he's made in his development, to me, when you look at the age and where these teams are, it's either the Kings or maybe the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, that depends on what moves are made this offseason. Trades are going to happen. Free agency is going to happen. I could change my tune real quick based on what happens this offseason. But to me, not that hot of a take to say that the Sacramento Kings are possibly the biggest obstacle in the way of some kind of Denver Nuggets Western Conference dynasty, if not an NBA dynasty.
Yeah, he's Rami. I'm Cattles on a Monday. Sactown Sports. Look, I don't think it's crazy by any stretch to mention the Kings as being a part of this conversation. And Rami just went through a number of the other teams and how their outlook is heading into this offseason. And yes, there are a lot of moves to be made. Of course, I'm not going to sleep on the Spurs. They have tons of cap space, and they're going to draft Victor Wembanyama. Now, does that mean this coming year? I wouldn't go this coming year, but in year 2 of Wemby, depending on who else they add to that team with all the space, we'll see what happens. A lot can go down. But you can also look at, when we talk of the offseason and what teams can do, you have to look in the backyard. You've got to look at what the Kings can do, because the Kings, they have a lot of options. They have the opportunity of having $20+ million in cap space. Not a lot of teams have that. They have the cap space to do something, and they can create even more cap space if they'd like to. So you've got money. You've got Keegan Murray, who, again, I think the biggest question about him is whether or not he is going to be even better than what many thought. I thought he had the ceiling to be a multiple-time All-Star. I still believe that. Could he take a leap and be a top 15 to 20 guy? We'll have to wait and see. But you'll have the development of year 2 Keegan as well. So you have $20 million or more in cap space. You've got Keegan after a really, really good rookie season coming into year 2. You would absolutely expect him to be better. And you also have year 2 of not just Keegan, but year 2 of Mike Brown. This staff is no longer brand new, right? Mm-hmm. And his staff has stayed intact. Jordy Fernandez did not get a head coaching gig. So Jordy will be back with Mike. And he will still have the assortment of coaches on the bench that he had this year. He'll have Doug back. He'll have Triano back. He'll have Luke Laux back. He'll have all of those guys back on this coaching staff. So there's going to be some cohesion from year to year, which is huge. And you also have these guys that will be playing for Mike Brown and knowing exactly what to expect. They now know the program. They now know the schemes. They now know their responsibilities. And we're talking about a team. We're talking about a franchise that finally got that playoff drought off their back. So I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's, as you said, Rami, get the oven mitts out, Alan Hahn with the corny joke. I don't think it's that hot of a take. They were the 3rd team in the Western Conference this year. And again, if they upgrade and they have the vehicles to upgrade, and I would expect them to upgrade because Monty's good at what he does, then why would they not be at least part of the conversation when they were a 3 seed and won almost 50 games this year? Why not?
I think it's a hotter take. I think one of them picked the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. Man, we don't even know what the Lakers roster looks like next year with all the free agents that they have. Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and then you just look at the age of LeBron and everything that surrounds AD. To me, saying the Lakers are a bigger problem for a Nuggets dynasty is a hotter take than saying that the Kings are, because we just have no idea who or what the Lakers are by the time next season rolls around.
By the way, just announced from Eric Spoelstra, Tyler Herro will play tonight. Coach Spo said it's all hands on deck. They're going to go with their normal rotation, and we'll see how things play out. So Tyler Herro does indeed return to the finals and return to the playoffs, and he'll be out there tonight, Game 5 for the Miami Heat. We'll see how much of a difference that makes, but hey, at least they get a 20-point per game scorer back in their lineup. Your thoughts on the Kings? Is it outrageous? Is it an oven mitt hot take to say that the Kings could be the team to disrupt a possible Nuggets run, a possible Nuggets dynasty? 1-800-920-1140